What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video I'm going to be doing the beginner's guide for the mutated beast, so you guys can, get your shards and get your weapons upgraded and armor upgraded past +5. So down in the, if I leave anything out or just me leaving, some info and linking stuff, I will put that in the pinned comment below. Like for example, I would link a spreadsheet for the normal raids so you guys can see, what this stuff can come with, stat wise, so you can generally get an idea of what kind of stats you should go for. But to start off, setup, you can do this with Skyrens. You can do quite a bit of the mutated beast with just Skyrens. Now mine are +25. I don't have any old ones up here or anything like that. Like the only one I have still is just this one, which isn't even upgraded. But you can do it with any Skyrim, in the beginning, and then upgrade it more as you go. But if you have a 2-stat light wolf or a 4-stat light wolf, then you can pair that with 1 Skyrim, 1 light wolf. Or if you have 2 light wolves already, like that, then you can use both of those, because that would be more accuracy for you, which will make it more easier for you in the beginning accuracy wise. As for armor, for default armor, it doesn't really matter. Like right here I'm just using black light clothes because I don't have a clothes of tranquility anymore. Right here, if I didn't have black light clothes and this was before XT gear was added, then I would be using clothes of tranquility instead. But I'm not going to put this on because this is on another character, because I have the special accuracy incarnation on that. As for accessories, I'm just using the Spirit Artisan collar. This is from the legendary smith. You can craft this, but other alternatives would be pretty much anything with dex, like this cerulean necklace from the North Raid. You can use that. A black ice collar. This is the XT version, but there is a non-XT version that you get from West Raid. You can use that as well, as that has dex. So for anything really with high dex, you can use, because the more dex you have, you get accuracy and stuff like that, and if you need more accuracy, then that'll help you. As for the other accessory slot, I'm going to be using Ring of Tranquility for the bulwark, because I'm going to be using 2 bulwarks to boost stats further. And for just the passives right here, Killing Blow, Rising Spirit, Evil God Bloodline, and Blade Dance. This is pretty much what I normally use, except for Blade Dance. Normally I'll just use Clear Flash instead, but Blade Dance, you can use that as well. It just kind of depends what you prefer, really. But if you need more accuracy, then I would say replace Evil God Bloodline with Hawkeye, and if you need even more, then you can just replace Blade Dance with another accuracy passive. As for sword skills, Shine Circular, Final Revolution, Nightmare, Starburst. Shine, this will be your down damage, so you can use Steel Riding Armor right here with the down damage incarnation. Now, I already went over where to get these incarnations before. I believe I did that in the Divine Beast video, my North Raid Beginner's Guide, which is the non-extreme version of the North Raid. And then I generally explained most of this stuff up in the North Extreme Guide as well. So if you haven't seen those, I suggest you go look at those and the video on how custom skills work so you understand this part. And then right here, Abyssal Ring, I'm just going to be stacking that with the Ring of Tranquility. Final Evolution, this is going to be for Hazard, White Mist. This is what you'll use in the beginning because the passive on it just gives more hazard gauge whenever you crit. Violet Flash Incarnation for more, faster hazard on crit. And then Abyssal Ring as well, same thing. Nightmare Rain, same exact thing as Final Revolution, just your hazard. In Starburst Stream, this is the exact same as Shine Circular. This will be your down damage. Now, coming to the buffs over here, for the character, I use Galvanize, the Bulwark, Billion Blossom, so you can keep your skill connect, and then Reaper's Wrath for more crit. Now for the custom on these, I just got the armor, mostly the incarnation on this for SP consumption minus and then cooldown time, because you want these to come back at least fast, if let's say you can't kill them fast and you have to wait for your buffs to come back, then this will reduce the cooldown time for you having to wait. And then also, since this is the XT Guardian Dragon Armor, it has the passive as well for that. But instead, you can just use pretty much any armor, really. Just slap an armor and then just use, you know, that incarnation slot on it. And then for this, Forgotten Talisman, this is from the South Raid on completion, just get that. Traveler's Cloak, this is from a vendor near the Dye Girl that you go to in Centauria, which is on the map I will show you. So Centauria, and then generally right here in this area, he's right over in this area, like right about here. He's near the girl that uses you know, materials for you so you can dye your clothes. So he's right up in this area right there. So just go there and go in that general area. Now, for the rest of the stuff, that's pretty much it for like what I got on those, you know, the cooldown stuff and then the buffs I use. Now going to the other character, Philia, Vein Shredder, you mostly just want this for the Tiger's Resolve buff. White Mist Armor for the Reaper's Wrath on it, and then I also have her with Beauty Incarnation, so Chain Burst can go to level 4. Because if you have this on an AI, it'll also go to you too, so you can still hit Chain Burst level 4 even though it's not on you. And then Wood Ornament Belt, this is a mob drop. You don't need this, you can use something else instead. If you have another, you know, piece of gear that has maybe some skill speed on it, like Firebolt or Sword of the Goddess, then I would suggest using that. I believe you can get some, like, there's some XT gear I believe that have it, and then there's some, you know, service quest items that have it as well. And then on her, I'm just using another Ring of Tranquility. This is the XT version. You can use a non-XT version as well. I'm just mostly using it for the bulwark. So for her EX skill, Buffer, this is so her buff range, you know, is bigger. So you don't have to be too close to her, you know, like right near her while you're using her buffs to transfer it to your character. So pretty much passives, efficient movement for SP regen, because at some point, you know, especially if you're fighting very, very in-game mobs, like let's say level 400 Divine Beast, she's pretty much not going to hit them, so just getting SP regen on her will be at least good. Soul's End for more max SP, Spiritual Cage for more cooldown, and Sense Danger for more cooldown as well. The buffs, I have Firebolt on from that piece of gear, Bulwark, Tiger's Resolve from the dagger, and then Reaper's Wrath from the armor. Same thing goes here. This right here, I believe this just got changed, as originally I had one with the Incarnation on it for reducing the cooldown time, but this just got changed because I ended up I probably put the gear on somebody else. But just put the just like what I said before, practically any armor just right here that has an incarnation slot, and then just put the incarnation on that, and it's just the exact same setup, you know. For the talisman, Traveler's Cloak, to tell you this, you cannot use the same thing. So for example, this Forgotten Talisman has 48 dex on it, and then for my character this has 40 dex. You cannot use the same one. So say for example I took this talisman and I put it on Philia, then that's going to get rid of this one on my character. So you at least need, you know, 2 copies of the same thing for, you know, characters or however many characters. And that's pretty much it for her setup. Another thing I want to mention is the records. So for my character, I'm running Prodigy for more skill speed because I'm not going to be needing any accuracy. And then Uptight is pretty much the only good anima for your character. Now, as for Philia, I have her with Born Leader, as she can share the buffs with everybody else, and then just Luxter on for her because she's not going to be doing any damage anyway, so I just throw that on. Now, that's pretty much the setup for Philia. She's our dagger buffer, so she's going to be buffing us. Now, Silica, I have her set up as my debuffer. So, Dagger of the White Knight, you mostly want this for the special accuracy, and if you're also going to use her to land the Shadow Stitch debuff for to slow the mob down, then you'll also want, you know, some good dex on that as well for more accuracy for her. Default armor, Clothes of Tranquility, you know, for more special accuracy, and then just dex, you know, for whenever she's just using her sword skill. Now, I don't have the Earrings of Silence, I believe they're called, that also give special accuracy, because those are from the West raid, if I remember correctly. And so this is the closest thing I have to it, and it's XT, but you don't need this, but because you can just use the other one instead. The XT gear, if you have DLC, then I would suggest doing DLC before you really do Mutated Beast, because then you can go in DLC, kill trash mobs, and get XT gear, which will be better for you starting off. But if you don't have the DLC, then just the items I'm going to be mentioning are what you can use for starting out. And then right here, just an Abyssal Ring. This would also be good for Dex as well if you have a good one for, you know, her sword skill, or just for another skill that I'm going to be mentioning soon. But also because you want Wit's End on it. This is pretty much the most essential skill in the game for doing more damage on a mob, as it makes their risk go up to 6.0 instead of 3.0. So the more risk they have, the more damage that they'll take, and this will make it go up there if you land it. It requires special accuracy, so you'll want high special accuracy to land on a mob. As for her stuff, I have buffer on her, but don't put this on. I was doing this for something else. You want debuffer on her for more special accuracy. For sword skills, these I was just using for skill speed and all of that for something else, but instead you mostly want to put special accuracy on her. So for example, you'll be wanting to put on, let me see if I can find it. You will kind of want accuracy on her if you also want her to land a Shadow Stitch on some things, but primarily you will want, you know, special accuracy. So Soul Extraction I'm putting on her just for the SP consumption, you know, where she won't use as much. But Shadow Hands you will want. And then another thing you're going to want is Mental Resonance. So these main two right here are what you're going to want, as she'll be your debuffer for wits, and if you want to use her for Shadow Stitch. Soul Extraction is just kind of there so she can, you know, use most of these. But this God Robe right here, you don't need that. That was something else as well. Instead, you will mostly want to use Demonic Archer. I believe that's what I had on there before for the more special accuracy on it. And then that's pretty much it for what the main two passives are right here. And then I guess for the last part, you can just throw on Spiritual Cage for cooldown time to get these back a little bit faster. So for her stuff, you will want Black Chains. You will want to add the special accuracy ticks on these. So what I mean by that is, for example, go to the skill map, and then you want to press X on it if you're on PlayStation, and then there's these right here. So you can turn these effects on. So as you can see, I can add special accuracy to this, more special accuracy, slowed speed down, you know, increase the effect time and reduce the cooldown time. You can do all of that. So that's what I have for that on my Black Chains. That's just being used for the for more of her special accuracy to go up. And then same thing with Demonic Archer, you want to add more special accuracy on that as well. So the way this will work is when you're battling and then you want to debuff the mob with wits, you'll want to use Black Chains and Demonic Archer first before you then use Wits End, because you want to get as much special accuracy as you can. Then for wits, you just want to build this for special accuracy, so put special accuracy on this stuff. So for example, Clothes of Tranquility, I'm using that on her as it has special accuracy built in, and then I also have the special accuracy incarnation to boost that further. That accuracy minus won't matter because it's just her using a combat skill. And then I have another Heartbeat Earrings that I'm stacking with my other Heartbeat Earrings that I have on her. So this is pretty much whenever I use this skill, it's going to be using the 2 Heartbeat Earrings whenever I activate it. Now for Mind Break, you will want to put accuracy on this, because this scales off of accuracy. So to even land it on a mob, you will need accuracy. I would say go higher than what the normal accuracy you would need is. So like say for example you need 300 accuracy to hit a mob. I would say put your Mind Break a little higher than that. So let's say like 320, you know, just to be safe. Another thing about Mind Break is that if an enemy is either doing a attack or doing some kind of special animation, it will not hazard them. So say I use it on a mob, he's being completely still, it's gonna hazard them, and then it'll make it to where you can down them. But then say for example I use it and then the mob is doing a attack animation, it's not gonna land, so they're not gonna be hazard. So you want to do this when they're pretty much not doing anything. No animation, no attack. And then for this, I just have this on here. Arachna armor for the dex on it. That's what you can use. And then just pretty much stack any kind of dex accessory. So this necklace is being stacked with the abyssal ring that's on her main gear in the other slot. Now for her records, I have her with tactical to boost her max SP, and then just cautious right here. I think that just makes it where she doesn't get targeted as often and kind of stays away. But that's pretty much how you will want to build, you know, your dagger debuffer. Now for Sheyta, I have her as my rapier debuffer pretty much. I kind of had her as a mix between my debuffer and buffer a little bit whenever I had this burning blade on her. But it depends how you want to do her. You can either have her straight debuffer for landing the Speak of Caliber sword skill for the slowed speed down as well, or you can have her as your other buffer, or just have her kind of as a mix. But I would say either go for her being a full debuffer or just another buffer instead. Don't try to make it really a hybrid, because that really won't work for the later things in the game. For the best rapier you could get on her, it would be Time Stream with the dex on it. She really won't have any special accuracy for any rapier at all, so you're mostly gonna have to get it from, you know, armor or accessories. So armor, just Close of Tranquility for her, pretty much the same thing. Earrings of Silence, I actually do have this on her. That has dex and special accuracy, which is extremely good for, you know, landing the sword skill. And pretty much I had Vice Glove on here for the Burning Blade buff to share to myself. But instead, if you're building her as another debuffer, then you can just put another special accuracy accessory right here, or you can just put an accessory with a lot of dex on here to help boost your sword skill, so she can at least have enough accuracy to hit. So EX skill debuffer as well. I have her with High Precision Machine, Mental Resonance, Shadow Hand, and Hawkeye. So 2 special accuracy passives and then 2 accuracy passives. That would kind of be with the same thing you would use on Silica. Like for Soul Extraction, you could replace this for Hawkeye if you want, but it just really depends what you kind of want to use. So Sheyta, just pretty much Speak of Caliber on her. Customize this the same way as you would for like Mind Break, for example, because you will want accuracy. But basically the sword skill is going to be like a mix between Wits and then Mind Break. So how I showed you where Wits uses special accuracy and then Mind Break uses accuracy, you want to mix that here. So for example, the armor you want to use on her for this would be Close of Tranquility, because dex and special accuracy. And then you can also use the special accuracy incarnation on it as well. Just keep in mind that's gonna get rid of 25 accuracy for you, but that just depends if you want to use that. And then for this, you will just want to stack, you know, for example, Earrings of Silence. You will want to stack 2 of these here with, you know, for the dex and then the special accuracy. As for these, Galvanize I have on her just in case, you know, you can't kill it in one galv. So You use your galvanize, you can't kill it, then you switch to her, use that, then go back into your super art. Venomous curse I have because this can land, you can use this on a mob. It's not used for poison, but just the fact that you can use it to also hazard a mob faster. So that's a thing you can use for. Burning Blade, I just had this on her. You could put another, you know, debuffing skill on her. So for example, let's say for example, Black Chains runs out or Silent Flash runs out from after your Silica used it. Or even like right here, you could kind of use Demonic Archer. You can just use this on her, like after those run out. Another thing you could kind of do is Curse of the Weak. This can reduce the attack level and defense level of a mob. Also, you know, slows them down a bit and stuff like that if you add the ticks. But mostly this would be for like the attack level. That would make it to where a mob won't have much of an attack level to really hit you out of your sword skills. And the defense level, that'll make it to where some of your other sword skills will pretty much stun them out of theirs if they're using a skill. And then I just had her set as Mind Break. This is kind of what I had on whenever I was doing the East Extreme video. But you can also use her as a Mind Break character. And then for record, I just have her with Tactical for more SP, and then just Luxter, just cause. So that's pretty much the build for all of those, for, you know, just starting off. And I'll show some fights, you know, just showing this off with the different mutated beasts and all that. Another thing I want to mention is that if you're level 110, which is the cap currently for your character, then if you're trying to do level 200 and 300 mutated beasts, you'll need 380 accuracy or a little bit more depending on your weapon for the level 200. And then for level 300, you'll need 510 or more accuracy for depending on your weapon for those. So that's the accuracy you'll need for 200 and 300. Now, anything below level 200, if you're level 110, you'll just need less accuracy. I don't know the actual requirement for those because it's been a while, but that's to just give you a general idea of what you'll need for level 200 and 300, and then pretty much anything below that, you'll have enough accuracy to hit. So I'm going to cut right here, and I'm going to go into some of the mutated beast levels to just really show this off. And that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I won't be... I probably will talk during the part, but I'll just cut right here and then, you know, just show you how this will go. And keep in mind with some of these mutated beasts, bosses, mobs, you will need to probably use God Robe. That way you won't, you know, instantly be killed. So I will show a fight for it to really just show you how that will go. But I'm going to cut here and go into a mutated beast to really just show you how this goes. So as you can see right there, pretty much died very quickly. Another thing I want to mention is his level is 105. That is because my game is in death game. I actually forgot to take that off. But he would be, you know, level 50. But as you can see, that's pretty much how you're gonna, you know, do the fight is, you know, switch to your character or switch to your buffer AI, and then what you want to do is like move away from the enemy. Like get over here or something like that before they come near you and attack you. Then you want to call your teammates, then just use your buffs. After that, you know, I switched to Silica, and then I used, you know, Black Chains, then Demonic Archer, Wits, and then I used Mind Break. Now, didn't even have to use Sheyta for that because, like I said, my level is just higher and stuff like that. Plus the level 25 Skyrims I'm using. But for Sheyta, it would have been, you know, using Venomous Curse as well. That is pretty much what I would have used her for, and then, you know, tell her to use Speak of Caliber. Same thing with Silica. After I used her, I would have just told her to use Shadow Stitch. And then, as you saw, after I finished with Silica, I just switched back to my character, used Galvanize, Bulwark, and then, you know, use your Billion, then use your Reaper, and then just go in Super Art, and just use your sword skills, you know. Keep in mind with Billion Blossom, to keep your skill connect, you'll want to basically just do this. So, Final, do that, then you'll want to sidestep, and then immediately go to your sword skill again. Because whenever you step and you have Billion Blossom, and then once you activate your sword skill again, you'll keep that skill connection, so you'll keep that damage bonus as well. But that's pretty much how to do like that right there. So I'm going to show some more, and then I'm going to end up showing one part where you'll just kind of have to change your setup, because there'll be one enemy that just can pretty much outright kill you the moment you start the mission. Now again, this is another mutant, so just start off the fight, switch to your buffer, call them over real quick, do my buffs so it can share. Silica, debuff, and the mob is already hazard because sword skills and stuff and chain. So super hard, then down it, and then again just use your sword skills and connect. And there you go. That was the level 100 mutant for the black shards. So now I'm gonna end up showing the one where you'll have to use God Robe on if you just can't survive its hit. So I'm gonna show you that. So this right here is the mutant I'm talking about. This is the level 150 for the black shards. So as soon as the fight starts, he's going to jump and it will damage you. So this is where you would want to, you know, quickly switch to your buffer and then use God Robe. So like right there, he does the jump and does the damage. So if you know you can't survive against that, then I suggest you just, you know, replace a buff either on you or just throw it on, you know, your buffer AI, and then make it to where they have God Robe to share with the, you know, entire team. So there we go. Switch back to my character, finish off the buffs, and down him. This guy is pretty tanky as well. He has a lot of HP, and then his defense and stuff is just very high. So your very first time fighting this guy will probably go a lot slower, and just, you know, you'll just have to really fight him and get a feel for how it goes. Now the last part I will show is mutants that you will be fighting that are more than one. So as you can see, up to level 150 you'll just be fighting single mutants, but 200 and 300 you'll be fighting, you know, more than one. Now one thing before I go to the level 200 of the black shard mutants, you're going to be fighting two of them. So one thing I recommend is, you know, changing your passive to at least have Cackling Devastator for the AoE attacks. And then also changing your EX skill to Buffer to boost the range of that. Reason why is because this will help you with dealing damage to both of them and, you know, just hazarding both of them as well. Another thing I'd want to mention is probably putting on, you know, God Robe on your Buffer character. So for example, since I've already got Prodigy on, I probably don't need Firebolt on her myself. So I could just swap God Robe on here just cuz. So God Robe Warrior right here. And then once she uses this will go to all teammates. So this will be good to keep you alive and your teammates alive, so you can use the other skills on them as well. Now another thing I also want to mention is I believe if you throw on AoE on Silica, you can actually use, you know, wits will actually go to the other mob as well. I'll throw that on just to try it out because I'm not entirely sure on it. I believe it does work though, so I'll just throw that on her as well just to see. And yeah, I'll see you guys in level 200 for the black shards to show you how this will all go. So these are the two you'll be fighting at level 200 for black shards, 2 slugs. So immediately when fight comes out, same thing as usual. You know, switch to your buffer, call your team over, use your buffs. We don't have enough for Reaper. There we go. Now Silica, switch to, and then we'll start debuffing. Now we don't have enough special accuracy, or we don't have enough SP to, you know, use Mind Break, but there we go. Missed. But we're gonna go to Sheyta, and what we're gonna do is use the Galvanize on her. And now we're just going to attack both of these. So as you can see, you don't really need Mind Break here. It's just good if you want to instantly, you know, hazard them. But as you can see, you can still work fine without it. And since we have the AoE on, that other slug right there is hazard as well, so he won't be attacking us while he's, you know, still broken. As you can see, we already killed one. This guy is still hazard. As you can see too, the AoE worked as well, so the wits, you know, came to this guy too. Use our Galvanize, also didn't use my buffs on my character, so there we go. And since I don't have enough accuracy on, you know, Silica or Sheyta, they really can't land their sword skill debuff. But as you saw, probably in the top, you saw them put a slow debuff on. One of them landed it. They can occasionally land that, but you would want higher accuracy and, you know, better. You would want better gear for accuracy and special accuracy up at this point if you want them to consistently land it, really. But as you can see, that's pretty much what you would, this is pretty much the general guide of what you would, you know, use normally. This is pretty much the standard gear that you can use that's non-XT, non-extreme. And you can do it all the way up to 200, even 300 pretty much. And like I said, this is pretty much just it for what I would recommend for starting out, for no XT gear, no extreme gear. And yeah. So hopefully this will help. If any questions, let me know down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.